Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff Mom Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio. And welcome to another edition of Happy Hour. As always, if you choose to drink, please do so responsibly. We're not currently sponsored by anything we mention. I don't think we're going to mention anything of note, but, you know, because I, as Samantha knows, as some of you probably know, I'm having a bit of a week. Refrigerator drama. I do have a light beer that shall remain nameless, but
that she loves.
Yes, I do love it. And I even have a good Star Wars saying with it, but then you'll guess, and then we can't have that. Yes, today is May the 4th. It is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I'm already feeling it. I'm feeling it because I have been up for several hours taking pictures in various Luke Skywalker cosplay, which was fun. And that TikTok should be available somewhere. It might be on Instagram too. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I saw Return of the Jedi in theaters. We're going to see Empire Strikes Back in theaters today, which means I need to find somewhere playing A New Hope, or I don't know what will happen. Won't be good. What will happen. But this one's going to be a bit of a shorter one, but just kind of a like celebratory, happy Star Wars Day. There has been some Star Wars news lately, actually, because Celebration just happened, which is when they make a bunch of big announcements. That's when they announced that Return of the Jedi would be playing in theaters. I really want the poster, but I shouldn't get it because I've already said I have too much Star Wars stuff and my walls are covered in things, but the poster's really good.
You're going to have a house soon, so go ahead. Let's get a basement. Make sure you have a basement. We definitely need you to have a basement.
My Star Wars basement doesn't sound creepy at all. Come to my Star Wars basement.
Don't have real people down there, like as a prop, okay? That would be the scary part.
Yes, I guess so. But they also recently announced that Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia Organa, who we are going to rerun the two-parter we did on her soon, so look out for that, is getting a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yes, in honor of Star Wars Day. So that's happening. By the time you've listened to this, it's probably already happened, but it's happening May 4th at 11:30 a.m. And Billie Lourd is accepting the star on her mom's behalf.
Oh,
yeah. So that's, very late, but it's much needed. About time is what I say.
Amen.
Yes. And yeah, there has been so much news that, and as we said in our last episode that we did when we were reading the mail Dina sent us, and Dina asked, like, how are you feeling? I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest.
Oh, no.
It's not bad. Like,
okay.
It's still in the scheme of things. Oh, wow, you're getting so much Star Wars content. It's not a big problem. I think it's just like it is so much and how I'm going to keep up with all of it. And also a lot of the quotes I've heard about stuff that's coming out have made me really nervous. Sometimes those kind of quotes work out. Like they said a similar thing about Andor and I ended up really loving Andor. But one of the things they said was it's going to take canon and turn it on its head, and I was like, okay, but do we need to do this? Because people are confused about it and kind of really fight about it. If you haven't noticed, I'm sure you have. So I've heard a couple of quotes about that, especially around the Acolyte, that make me nervous. I don't know that show is going to be for me, but I think it'll be really good. And that's okay. We don't have to like every piece of Star Wars that comes out. And to be clear, I actually don't. And I'll be talking about that in an upcoming Fictional Women Around the World. But it does feel strange to me because I am such a completionist. And it's strange for me to think, like, I don't know if I'll watch that. I'll see what people say. I think it is going to be good. I'm a little nervous about Ahsoka. I was so excited about it. I am excited about it still, but I am nervous because And again, this is a really silly problem to have, but when you love something so much, it's not that I'm protective of it. I've just been kind of let down several times lately.
Yeah, true.
Because I honestly feel like I'm one of the most, and you can, if you disagree, Samantha, you can say, I feel like I'm one of the most forgiving Star Wars fans. Like, I don't know, just on a spectrum. I won't say like I'm the most forgiving or anything like that, but on the spectrum of like, I hate literally everything to, maybe that's not what I wanted, but I like this part and this part and this part. Like, I'm much more on that side of it.
I feel like you hold your opinions in really well, and you're not going to yuck someone's yum.
Yes, unless they're terrible people. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
And even then, you wouldn't do it at them unless they were like mean to you, specifically to your face.
Right. Because I'm just not about that. Like, if somebody likes something, then
Right.
What harm does that do me? I think that it can feel sometimes like I was saying in the last one, like, oh no, everybody likes this thing and I don't like it. Then they're going to make more of this thing. And that can feel kind of like, oh God, they're going to keep making this thing I don't like and not the thing I actually like. But that's still no reason to really come at somebody, and also probably not true. But I can get why it feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just so interesting with characters like Ahsoka, because I feel like she's gone through such a arc of everybody hated her and then everybody loved her. And now people are tired of her because everybody loves her. And they're trying to like get you really pumped about the show. And that's like all the merchandise. So people are like really going back and forth about how they feel about her. And then I feel like how she was portrayed in Book of Boba Fett didn't really fit with her character. But, that's an interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm nervous about it. That's what I'm saying. But cautiously excited.
Fair.
Yes. I did get Jedi Survivor, which is the video game that just came out. I haven't played it yet. I'm very, very excited to play it. I've heard really good things, but I am, of course, still in my never-ending Last of Us 2 playthrough. And I feel like I can't stop until I'm done with The Last of Us 2, and then I will play Jedi Survivor. I don't want to mess up the controls, Samantha. Don't laugh at me.
I know.
It's very, very important. But yes, if anyone's played, please let me know. I am excited to do it. And my friend Marissa was staying with me this past weekend because we were trying to get Taylor Swift tickets and it was a fun fiasco. But she tried to convince me to play it. I was like, I'm playing The Last of Us 2 or nothing else until it's done. And she was like, okay. Yes. I'm such a completionist, and that's one of the lessons I'm trying to learn here, is that there is so much Star Wars stuff, is that I think I am going to have to start picking and choosing in some ways.
Ruh-roh.
I know. Or at least prioritizing things and not beating myself up over, you haven't watched every episode of this. What kind of fan are you?
Right.
Which I know is silly, but I do feel that way sometimes.
Do you also feel that way because people are going to ask you your opinion since you are such a diehard fan, so you feel like you need to be prepared?
Yeah, kind of. And something like that happened when I was on Holly's show, where I was so nervous. Like, she's a good friend of ours. She's a kind interviewer. She's also, she has very strong opinions, and we disagree on a lot of them. But she's also very good about, like, if that's your thing,
right?
Like, I'm not going to.
Right.
So it's like I had no reason to be as nervous as I was going on her show, but I know we've talked about this before, I can't remember parts of it because I was so nervous. And the reason for it is that kind of gatekeeping aspect we've talked before about, especially when it comes to women, of, oh, you don't know every single fact, you haven't read every book, every comic, you haven't played every game, your opinion is not valid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not true, but I get so nervous about it. And at the end, she asked me, like, what are you excited about? And I remember flubbing so hard of like, I said a character's name incorrectly. I said a show's name incorrectly. And like, I know those things, but I felt like I had to have an opinion where the honest truth was I really wasn't. I was like generally excited. There wasn't like one project I was super excited about. And then I felt ashamed afterwards. I was like, I should have said this. This is the cool one I could have said.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know a lot of that Star Wars fandom notoriously can be very toxic. There are very toxic aspects of it. There are very gatekeepy aspects of it. But I know a lot of that is in my own head. Like, it exists, but also Holly is very kind. And like, you know, like...
Yeah, you couldn't have said anything wrong outside of like attacking her likes.
Yeah, right. So it is part of that. And I do feel like I have to have an answer ready whenever anybody asks. And if you're listening and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't ask because stresses are out. No, that's not it at all. This is more me thing.
Yeah, I have a whole performance anxiety. I think we talked about this with my whole like being on other podcasts. Yeah. I had several where I go into a spiral, literally into an emotional anxiety spiral where I have to like time out from reality. But I do that too, but on a different thing. In general, when I just feel like I'm making myself look really silly and it's not true. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and it's, I want to come back and talk about this because I had a whole thing planned that we did discuss when Joey came on. We talked about Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. I had a thing planned about it before, and I want to come back and discuss it because we didn't really get into it too much. But one of the reasons Star Wars became such a big part of my life, because believe it or not, it's like gone through ups and downs, but this is pretty new. This level for me is because there was a vacuum from losing Harry Potter. Right. And then the pandemic happened and I really needed some kind of comfort thing. And so it became Star Wars. But the danger of doing that is that, you know, what happens if I lose Star Wars? Right. And I know we kind of talked about that too. I feel like Star Wars is different in that there are a million different creators over like a long time. But still, it would really not be good. And one of the reasons I think that I get so nervous, like even when I did Movie Crush with Chuck about Empire Strikes Back, like that should have just been a fun thing that I got to talk about something I love instead of so stressed about it, is because it's a double-edged sword of loving something so much that it could hurt you. And I think that's why I get so protective and sometimes defensive, I can admit it, of like, well, I love these characters and here's why, and please don't attack these characters because they're me, right? Right. Yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons I get so anxious about it. Like it should be a fun thing. Yeah. But I do want to come back and talk about that. And I find so much joy in this. I know I'm making it sound like it's such a stressor for me. There are stressful aspects of being a big fan, but there's so much joy in it. There's so much joy and sharing that with other people and getting so excited and going to the movie theaters and their themed drinks that have puns and all of those things. So I don't want to downplay that at all. Like it is, I literally, when me and Marissa were watching Return of the Jedi, like barely refrained from squealing. Like I'm so excited.
I like it's barely refrained. Yes. Yeah. I'm excited to see this one with you tomorrow. Yes, for us. It will be May 4th when you listen to this. So tonight, for those of you who are listening in real time, release times. So I'm excited because I will not squeal, but I will watch you squeal and smile.
I will try not to, but we are going. It's a sold out theater, so there's going to be some.
We're going to get there early. Wait, do we have seats? We just have to get there early, right?
We have to get there
so
early.
Many planning. So if if you see us, listeners, come say hi. If anybody's in Atlanta coming to do this event with us.
Yes. And come share with us. I mean, that's one of my favorite things is that 40 years later, here we are sharing this experience in a movie theater. Yeah. So I'm very excited. Happy May the 4th. Whatever you do or don't do to celebrate or not celebrate.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Thank you. Cheers. And if you would like to contact us about any of this stuff, you can. Our email is stephanie@momstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter @momstuffpodcast or on Instagram and TikTok. Yes, @StuffI'll-Never-Told-You. You can also find us on YouTube. We have a book coming out. You can pre-order it at StuffYouShouldReadBooks.com. Thanks, as always, to our super producer, Christina, our executive producer, Maya, and our contributor, Joey.
Thank you all.
Yes, and thanks to all of you for listening. Stuff I'll Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts on iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.